Let's not take credit for our Father's good deeds. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we will be embarking on a series of videos, maybe 3, debunking mud flood. As I stated in another video on another channel, Tartaria, and I suppose to a degree mud flood and whatever else may come attached to it, is a Russian secret service or intelligence agency psyop designed to keep you researching, looking for the truth instead of fighting for your freedom. It is inherently energetically vampirical design. It's an inertia generator. How about it? Okay? A waste of your fucking time. Sorry. Now, it is important that you understand how I understand mud flood, because that's what I'm going to be debunking. Now, I will probably confirm some of your suspicions about some of these occurrences called mud flood, but what we are debunking here, it is important and imperative that you imbeciles, I'm just joking, I was looking for a word that started with I am, just kidding, understand what I mean, right? So I'm talking about this concept, and look, if you see it as something else, okay. This idea of some kind of great reset, that some kind of great flood, natural cataclysm, some people have a better idea than others how it came about, but ultimately resulted in burying cities underground, at least to a certain degree, right? So these buildings that you'll find partially covered in earth, or they will unearth the basement of a building, and it'll look like, it'll have windows and doors like it used to be. That used to be the first floor. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but obviously I'm not denying that some buildings have been buried partially, or even in their entirety, or whatever's is left of them. What I am questioning and ultimately debunking is this idea that some kind of great cataclysm 150, 200, less than 300 years ago did all this great damage all over the globe, right? Burying, at least partially, a whole bunch of buildings, right? That in and of itself, ladies and gentlemen, is nonsense. Sorry. That being said, I do believe there was at some point in time, I don't know, maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000 years ago, maybe six, I don't know, thousands of years ago probably, a great flood or a series of great floods that have done a whole bunch of damage to various civilizations. Yeah. Sure, that's happened. That I believe. Anyway, I was checking out, let me take a sip of my tea, a live stream where a few people were talking about mud flood, and from mud flood they jumped on to another myth or curiosity, if you will, which was underground cities. Did you get it yet? No? Okay. Yeah, it's that simple. So they went from, I forget where it was. I have Paris here right in front of you, but maybe they were talking about Moscow. I don't know. They were above ground showing you photos of mud flood, right? Wondering, pondering what it was. And then the next topic was underground cities, and seamlessly went from all this soil above ground that didn't belong there to all this soil that had been removed from right below those same fucking buildings. Now do you get it? Now can I turn the video off? Well, there's more to it, in it. So yeah, there's all these underground tunnels that people are supposedly discovering, or some people are finding out that these tunnels exist. Where are they? I mean, the most logical, obvious explanation is mines, right? Where do you think people got silver, gold, iron, coal from, right? Yeah, some of these things were probably dug up to hide from whatever, to have an escape route in case the castle got besieged or whatever, right? Yeah. But most of them are obviously, everyone should understand this, mines. Oh my goodness. Why are we so dumb, people? Why are we so naive? Why do we fall so easily for every goddamn conspiracy? So, it's been raining here a lot, right? And you'll see that in another video. We talk about mud flood. Maybe I'll endear myself to some of you after you're done feeling butthurt because of this video. And as it tends to be the case when it rains a lot here, rocks roll down the hill and block the road, right? So we're in the rainy season and some car rolls up and I hear a guy getting out the car, moving the rocks, murmuring, mumbling to himself, "Who put these here?" I mean, that's an extreme example of a really dumb motherfucker, right? And a lot of us are a little bit smarter than that, or a lot smarter than that. But what we should all understand is that we don't understand everything, and there still are people smarter than us. Or maybe could provide answers to some questions that we cannot for whatever reason, right? Energy vampires, inertia generators. Okay? So it's easy to imagine that these medieval or maybe older cities, right? The reason why some of their buildings got partially buried is because they excavated a shit ton of material right from underneath them, right? And then probably because people are lazy, because it was easy, because they were sloppy, right? Some, a lot, all of that dirt found its way up to the surface, right? And slowly over time, partially buried some of these buildings. So just like that dumb guy not realizing that rocks roll down the hillside when it rains, right? The ground gets soft, they get loosened, and they, roll down and block the road. Uh, a lot of people just don't get certain things, or are too lazy to try to find answers to these questions. But because somebody supplants them with, or provides them with an idea that may sound good, they just fall for it, accept it. That's why these are psyops, right? They take advantage of our vulnerabilities. Anyway, this is a small town in Poland, Olkusz, where they recently, I don't know, maybe a decade ago, discovered the basement of a town hall that was destroyed at some point, rebuilt and repurposed, rebuilt and destroyed, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in the First or Second World War, and just kind of forgotten and buried, right? But the basement, right, which was like a jail, a few jail cells, and maybe a bar or something like that, survived, right? This is this town square where they found these ruins, and I believe that what used to be ground level, right, or the top of the foundation of this town hall, was a couple of meters underground or something like that, right? So it had to have been partially buried, much like the mud flood buildings, even a long time ago, hundreds, maybe even half a millennium ago, right? But they discovered it, right? Somehow people forgot about it, and then they made this discovery. They didn't realize. There it is. It got rebuilt into like a water tower, right? And then that got destroyed or taken apart. I forget, but it got somehow destroyed. And then yeah, so this isn't, doesn't look like it's even paved, right? This was, I don't know, maybe 100 years ago, maybe less than that. Anyway, it was a discovery. People were surprised to find out that it's there, right? Even though this water tower was built on top of it, right? I guess they didn't even know that, or they forgot that that's what happened, right? So it was like a discovery, and there it was. So how is it that people forget these things, right? How is it that we don't know? Well, you know what? I'll save that for the next episode. We'll be talking about Chicago, because Chicago didn't forget. And there's a big difference between Chicago and Europe, and why Chicago didn't forget and why Europe forgot. Right? I'm sure you could figure out why. Anyway, this is the old rendering of the town hall. This is it, right? This is the original structure, whose basement is all that's left of it, right? And a sort of museum right now, right? Look at what's happening. Look at the terrain around it, right? It's very uneven. There's like a mound of dirt behind it. What the hell is all that, right? There's like another little mound over here, some more mounds over here, right? Some old buildings falling apart, and looks like there's stuff, just dirt inside of buildings, right? What's going on, guys? Then there's this big puddle. Remember all this stuff for the next video that I make. Maybe I'll remind you guys, right? There's another pile of dirt over here, right? Starting to cover the window, right? So right around this town hall, if you will, there are tens and tens of mines. Private generally, and illegal for the most part. Silver mines, right? Check it out. Which have, and just so you, let me go back to this real quick. So this is the excavation, right? This is where the town hall more or less was. It's still in the process of being excavated. You see the backhoe, right? They're digging it up right there. That's where it got buried, right? And these buildings, like the yellow one, the white one, and all around this town square, there's probably at least 10 mines right there. And I'm going to show you one of them. And there you go, right? So this is ground floor, obviously. And then they go underground, right? Now, up to a certain point, right, they tell you in this video that street level was something like, depending on where you were, 4 to 6 meters or something like that lower, right? So they're in, even though this is the basement right now, hundreds of years ago, that was the first floor, right? And these mines, depending on which one we're talking about, they found up to, I think, 4 levels in one of them. And they're saying they might even go deeper. This town was very well known for um, silver mining, coal too, but these were silver mines primarily. And people would mine the silver illegally and dump the material in the town square or anywhere they could, right? But they had to be conspicuous about it, uh, or inconspicuous. And, they didn't necessarily have the resources to haul all this dirt far and away. So slowly but surely, think Shawshank Redemption, right? They would dump this dirt at night by a bucketful into the town square, slowly raising the level of the town square, burying the town hall, if only partially, right? And then it got destroyed and buried some more. And at the same time, burying their own tenements or houses, buildings. It is what it is. Silver was money back then. It had lots of value. It was worth it, right? They just had a dungeon under their house. Who cares, right? Made their properties more valuable too, bigger. But again, because this stuff was illegal, they had to, be hush hush about it. So that's just one explanation for this so-called mud flood, right? And this is well known. This isn't like we're guessing here, right? This is well known. This was always known. Why did some people forget, right? Why did Parisians or Muscovites or whomever, right? How did they forget that that's what happened in their cities potentially, right? All these big cities like Paris, right? They have signs of quote unquote mud flood, and they have mines under them, right? Or tunnels, secret underground cities, right? How did they forget? What do you mean? How do you know they forgot? Did these quote unquote researchers go around asking these people what's going on here? Did they really investigate it? Or did it just confirm their bias and they're just running with it? There's probably old people or people who work for the town who have an explanation for this. Do these people, right, do they ever bother to go out there and ask and investigate? Do some investigative journalism? Do they ever bother to do any of that? No. And why not? Because they think they could understand the world and know the world sitting behind their fucking computer without going outside, talking to people, socializing, investigating, getting their fucking hands dirty. Which is coincidentally something we're going to do in our next video in this series, right? This is just the beginning. You let me know what you think. No need to get butthurt, man. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm frustrated because I'm sick and tired of these energy vampires, inertia generators, and young people, right? Instead of talking to their grandpas or great grandpas who may or may not still be alive, or people like that from that generation, they just sit at fucking home and click the fuck away thinking they know and understand everything. I'm sick of it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps explain some of this nonsense that is mud flood. There will be more. Stick around. And let's see if I could get this straight. Let's not blame. No. How did it go? I'm so rusty. Do not blame the son for his father's sins.